Hi guys, I know you've been waiting for this moment, probably for most of your life. So now we're about to achieve it right now. Guys, so what we have is we actually have circle equations. They're just not written in standard form, which when they're not in this pretty standard form, we can't find anything really useful with these equations. We don't know the center or the radius, which is very important when you have a circle. Guys, so we're going to make these equations into something that looks like standard form. We're actually going to turn them into standard form, and we're going to do that by completing the square, not one time, but two times. So get excited. Double completing the square means double the fun. Oh man, I'm excited. Let's get going. I'm pumped up. Okay, so like normal, or like we did before, you guys, we want the variables on one side and the constants on the other. Another piece to consider, we want all the x's grouped together and all the y's grouped together because we're going to be completing the square with the x's and then completing the square with the y. So we want the variables on one side, but we want them sorted from left to right with x's and y's. It doesn't matter if you do the x first or the y first, but in our standard form, we usually put the x first. So I'm going to be putting the x first. And then we still want our constants on this side. So basically, you guys, once we get done, we want our x's together. So we want these two to be right next to each other. We want our y's to be next to each other on one side. Okay, and then we want the constants together just on the other side of the equation. So this constant will be moving to the other side. So we're kind of grouping things by what is in common right now. Okay, so I'm going to be rearranging this equation. So my x's are together, my y's are together on one side of the equation, and then my constants are on the other side of the equation. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to be rewriting, I'm going to color code, because you know me, I like to color code. Guys, so I'm going to be rewriting this so my variables are all the same colors and my constants are all the same colors. So this is going to be, and while I do this, I'm going to go ahead and start sorting things on this side. So I'm going to group my x's together, my y's together, and my constants together. So I have a 4x on this side, so 4x. My y's are these two, so I'm going to group those together. I'm not really grouping, I'm just kind of writing them side by side, I guess. So plus y squared minus 2y. My constant's the negative 20, so minus 20 equals negative x squared. Okay. And actually, I'm going to write the constant in blue just because I think the yellow's not showing up well, which now I know it's going to look green, but I just don't like that the yellow's not showing up. Okay, so that's blue, which I know looks green now, but it'll be okay. All right, so now, you guys, I need my x's on one side and my y's on one side, and that 20 needs to be moved to the other side. All right, so I'm going to move negative x squared to the other side, which if you notice, you guys, do I have any like terms that I can combine negative x squared to? Is there another x squared on this side? No, there's not, unfortunately, which is sad. So when I move this over, I'm just going to bring it over, basically. I have nothing to combine it to, okay? So the way that I move a negative x squared over is by adding it on both sides, okay, which that will cancel and turn to 0. And I don't really have anything to add it to over here, so I'm just going to add the x squared and just kind of write it with everything else, because I can't combine it to anything else right now. Guys, so currently I have x squared plus 4x. And guys, it is helpful to write your variables in order from the highest exponent down to the smallest. We want to get it to standard form, which remember, standard form in this kind of equation means you start with your highest exponent and write it down to your lowest. Okay, so I'm going to write my x with the highest exponent and then my x with the next highest. Same with my y. So plus y squared minus 2y minus 20. Oh, wrong color. I'm just messing up this constant color. Minus 20. That's a 20. Sorry, guys. Equals 0. Alright, so before I can start completing the square, you guys, I need to move my negative 20 to the other side. So my variables are on one side and my constant is on the other side. okay? Which if it helps you to write that, you can, like I did in the previous problem, like you could write, you know, variables on this side. So these should be your variables when you get done. And this, which didn't leave space, this should be your constant. Okay, that's our goal. Okay, which we're almost there. Okay, so how do I move negative 20 to the other side? Crazy, you guys. You do add 20 on both sides. Okay, which negative 20 plus 20 cancels and turns to 0. 0 plus 20 is 20. So I currently have x squared plus 4x plus y squared minus 2y equals 20. Yay! Okay, guys, so now what we're going to do, we're going to be completing the square with the x's and with the y's. Okay, so we're going to be doing completing the square just 2 times. Okay, 1 time with the x's, 1 time with the y's. Guys, which when we get done, remember when we complete the square, when we do that magical fraction, which we'll talk about, it'll make us add something on both sides to make that perfect square trinomial. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. So we're going to add something to the x's, which means eventually we'll be adding it to the other side of our equation as well to keep our equation balanced. Okay, so eventually we're going to add that number onto this side. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing with the y. So we're going to do y squared minus 2y. We're going to add that special number, which means if we add it on one side, we're going to add it onto the other. Okay, so we're just completing the square 2 times. So don't freak out. It looks a lot worse than it is. I pinky promise, which is like the most serious promise you can ever give. So I'm being serious, you guys. Okay, so we're going to complete the square now. Complete the square. Okay, we're going to do it twice. We're going to do it with the x's and with the y's. So this is our x, and then this will be our y's. Okay, so what is that magical fraction we use to complete the square? It is b over 2 squared. You guys are like mathematicians already. You should just go ahead and get your degree because you guys are so smart. Okay, which I want you to see the whole problem, so here we go. Okay, so we're going to do b over 2 squared. Okay, which the b term in this one is the 4. So that's my b. So it's going to be 4 over 2 squared, which 4 over 2 is 2. So 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so this is the number I'm going to be putting in my boxy. So I'm going to be putting 4 in here and on this side. If we add to one side, we got to do it to the other side. So this is kind of going here and here. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with the y. So we're going to do our b over 2 squared. Okay, which in this case, the b is negative 2. That negative sign is attached. Okay, so it's negative 2 over 2 squared, which negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. And negative 1 squared, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So this is what's going in my boxy on both sides of my equation. So 1 and 1. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this equation, which this side's going to stay the same. This time I'm going to combine my like terms though. And I'm still going to color code because not only is it pretty, but I think it'll help you to see the equation come together. So which I'm going to start zooming in more because I feel like I'm getting far away. Okay. So we're going to have x squared. Oh, now this is getting in the way. Sorry, my ladybug is not cooperating. X squared plus 4x plus 4 plus, technically there's a plus sign up here. Okay, plus y squared minus 2y plus 1 equals 20 plus 4, which is 24, plus 1, which is 25. Okay, guys, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Alrighty, the final step when we complete the square is to write this. So we're going to write this And we're going to write this as a binomial squared, which the way we do that is by factoring. So we're going to factor real quickly. We're going to factor twice. Once with these and once with these. And guess what, you guys? After that, we'll be done. Okay, so from here, we're going to be sliding and dividing twice. Yay! Double the slide and dividing means double the fun. So now we're sliding and dividing. If you want to underline this, you could technically. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to do the x side and the y side. So x and the y. I like to keep it separated. Okay. Okay, so let's get going. So we're going to be sliding a to c, which means we're multiplying a to c. So secretly there's a 1 in front of my x, which I cannot seem to get this pen to work. So 1 times 4 is 4. So we want to find two numbers that multiply to be ac, which is 4, and add to be our b term, which is also a 4. And remember, you guys, if we do it right, these two will be the same, and these two will be the same. So let's see if we can get the same number. What are two numbers that both multiply to be 4 and add to be 4? Holy hot dog, you guys. It is 2 and 2. 2 and 2. Sorry, guys, my marker is running out. Okay, so technically, I could write this as x plus 2 times x plus 2, which don't forget when you divide by 1. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So this is like x plus 2 times x plus 2, so we slide and divide by the 1, which 2 over 1 is just 2. Okay, so I can just rewrite this whole thing, trying to do a curly brace, as x plus 2 quantity squared. Look at that. Holy hot dog. All right, and now we're just going to do the same thing with y, and after that we'll be done, you guys. Man, I'm so excited. I'm excited but kind of sad because I don't want the problem to end. Okay, so same thing here. I want to find two numbers that multiply to be AC, which is my slide. We slide the A to the C or multiply them, which secretly there's a 1 in front of my Y. So 1 times 1 is 1. And we want to find two numbers that add to equal B, which our B value is -2. And again, you guys, if we do this right, these two numbers should be the same. So let's see what happens. So what times what will equal 1? And also will add to be -2. Let's see. Oh man, you guys, it is -1 and -1. You guys are on a roll today, man. Okay, so again, we can write this as x minus 1, which we slide and divide. We divide by the 1, which technically -1 over 1 is just -1. Okay, which since we have the same thing twice, you guys, I can write this as a binomial square. Look at that. So it'll be x plus 2 squared plus, oh, and I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. I messed up, but it's not bad. These have y, so this should be y, not x. Sorry, I'm used to writing x when we factor. So guys, just change these to a y. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I know I just ruined your day, but I'll try to make it better, I promise. All right, these are y's. Okay. So together, see if I can do it. I struggle doing these curly braces. Let's see. Okay, that one was kind of rough, but it's okay. All right, so this is going to be y minus 1 quantity squared. Okay, and this is a y. All right, and then after that, I'm just going to bring down this 25 because that's what all this equals. So equals 25. So I'm going to bring this down here. And guess what, you guys? We now have that standard form, which I know this is a long problem. But look, our goal was to get it into standard form, which if you guys see, now it is. Okay, so wasn't that awesome? We got something that looks like this into standard form, and we just did it by completing the square twice. Isn't that exciting? Guys, so this will be our final answer. Oh man, that was so thrilling, you guys. Like, that just made my day. It was so awesome. So we're going to put it in a little boxy, because that's how I like to write my final answers. So guys, now that we're in standard form, I could technically find the center and the radius. The center would be -2, 1, and the radius would be the square root of this, which is 5. So there you go. Bam! That problem is done so. Whoa.